Ow! Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. I just really felt the need to come and talk about this wonderful book I read recently called The True Love Experiment by Christina. And I'm sure a lot of people have read or heard of this book, but I heard of it ages ago and just had never read it. This was actually my first Christina book. It's definitely not going to be my last. I was kind of inspired by Angel Raposo, whose videos I've been really enjoying lately. She spoke recently in one of her videos, her Year on Booktube video, about how she wants to get into doing long form reviews, like single reviews of books, which is not something I've ever considered before. But I was kind of like, yeah, okay. And then I then I was looking through my own old Instagram posts, my Bookstagram posts, and I was like, oh, I actually used to like give thoughts about the book I was reading, and I just haven't been doing that lately. Half the time I just post something and don't even write a caption, but most of it is taken up by my granny square reels at the moment. So those things in combination, I was like, well, maybe I could try doing that again. And then this book, I read it like halfway through, I was like, I need to talk about this at length. I just really loved this book. Now, it wasn't a 5-star read, but I will come to that. But it was just a great book. I definitely preferred the first half, and I would say probably the first 2/3 of it. The middle part of the book I really loved. The first part I really loved. The last part I probably just loved, but that's fine. So basically we are following Fizzy and Connor. Fizzy's a romance author, and she kind of has a little bit of an existential crisis where she realises she's like one of the world's most successful romance authors, but she's never had a true love story of her own, and she wants to change that, but she doesn't know how. And then she kind of gets into a huge writer's block, she gets into a big rut, she's questioning all of her life choices, and that's kind of where we're at the start of this book. Then we have Connor, who is a filmmaker and producer. Typically, like, his area of expertise is making films about marine biology and coastal climate, but he works for a small company who tell him, no, you have to make a reality TV show, and he's like, no, but they're like, well, you need to do it or you're out of a job and you can get back to your marine biology after. And he's like, great, thanks. So he, like, basically they have a chance meeting, and he comes up with this idea to get Fizzy, one of the world's most successful romance authors, and, like, I guess in a lot of people's eyes, a love expert. She's going to date 8 different men and find her own true love. He's obviously like, she's got a big fan base, ideal. Now the catch is that they're using this dating app called Genetic Ally, or Genetically, I'm not sure. But basically in the first book, this is the second book in a series, but they're standalones. I haven't read the first book. The first book is about the creator of this app where they like DNA test people to find who their true love is. So there's a base match, which is the lowest level, and then there's silver, gold, and I think it's diamond, the top, absolute top match, where they're like, yeah, you're a true love match. You can have the most perfect romance. Obviously, it's not gospel, but it seems to be pretty accurate. The first book follows that guy, and then he finds his love through his own app, and she is Fizzy's best friend, so that's where the link is. And in the dating show, that's what they use. But Fizzy and the viewers don't know the scores. I think there's only like 2 people who know the scores from the app. So basically the viewers vote off who they do or don't, I guess, want. Who they don't think Fizzy has a connection with, they get voted off. They vote for who they think Fizzy has the best connection with, and they get to stay, and then at the end they get to like go on a trip and stuff. Obviously, it turns out that her best match is Connor. Her true love is Connor. But the first thing that I really loved about this book is that straight away they acknowledged they had feelings for each other, which so many books, the characters spend like a huge portion of the book trying to deny their feelings for each other. The book I read before this was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I really felt like I get frustrated, not just that book, but loads of books do it, and they're like, oh, I don't like him, 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 and then they're like, I hate myself for liking him, and I'm just like, oh, get over yourself, grow up. So it was a breath of fresh air to get to this, and they were like, I have feelings for you. Yeah, me too. And they like had an adult conversation about it. They're like, yeah, this isn't gonna work though, because we have this whole show to do. Let's try and ignore it and move on. But yes, we do like each other. And I just loved that they did that. Like, they were straight up about it, they were confident, they owned their feelings, and they had a conversation. I think I can be pickier than a lot of other readers, especially when it comes to romance, because there are not loads of romance books that I love. And then I get thinking and I'm like, oh, I'm just not a romance person. I should stop reading them because it's not their fault, it's a me thing. And then I get a book like this where I'm just like giddy with joy reading it. And I'm like, oh no, I can be a romance person. It just has to be a romance book that works for me. And that's okay. Another romance book that I really, really loved was The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. I gave that 5 stars. That is the only romance book I've ever given 5 stars. But this one was really close. I think I settled on a 4.75 for this. Like, it was up there. But yeah, like, this book says, yes, I am a romance person. I can love romance. I love love in real life. I just don't always love the drama that comes with a romance book. And like, often the immaturity. I don't know. I will say that I did find Fizzy a little bit pushy at times, but those moments were few and far between. I think it happened like once in the first 100 pages and then maybe once or twice more throughout the book. But I do think she was reading Connor well, and she like was reading him well enough and with enough respect that she would have stopped. I do believe she would have stopped if she felt that he genuinely wasn't interested and he wanted her to stop. So yeah, maybe that one is a me thing. But like, they just had so much chemistry. This couple, like, you can tell as a reader that they're a perfect match, and that's so nice to read. They just, yeah, you just want them to fall in love and end up happily ever after, which is just so nice and refreshing to read. Another thing that I really liked were the nuances of Connor's British identity. So Connor is British, but he moved to the States when he was a teenager, and because the book is set in the States, just little things like little phrases or words here and there that was done so subtly but accurately. I just thought it was so smart. I did update my thought on this a little bit later when I was like, okay, maybe that's not always the case. But then I thought, spending half your life in America, you are going to pick up some American phrases and words. So, you know, there is a bit of leeway there, and it wasn't necessarily a mishap. But on the whole, yeah, I just thought it was so cleverly done that you couldn't tell, like, it wasn't in your face, but just little sprinkles here and there. It was so good. It did fall a little bit for me during the conflict, and then like the conflict I felt was a little bit of miscommunication, and then the resolution, I don't know, it just, they seemed to start to focus more on physical attraction again, which was the whole thing that I didn't love before, that they were like, I guess that wasn't it, but I don't know, it was just like, oh, I miss him so much and I miss his body. And like, when you're pining over someone and you're so like upset that you're missing them and you can't have them and you want them and you want them to want you too, I just don't feel like those things need to be dropped in there. However, I do think they were done for comedic effect and I just wasn't the right audience for it. But that's probably where the 5-star dropped off for me. Because halfway through this, I was like, oh my god, I'm about to have another 5-star romance. This is amazing. But unfortunately, it just wasn't quite there. And then I just want to finish off with a quote that I really loved. She looks up and meets my gaze. Her right eye has a spot of gold in it, like she looked up at the sun once, and a tiny splinter of it became trapped there. I just read that and I was just like, it's just so good, man. It's just so good. So on the whole, I love this book. You definitely don't have to read the first one, and I'm still not sure if I will. I think I'm going to go for Love and Other Words, because I think I looked up the tropes of a few of their books and that seems like the one that's going to be the most aligned with what I generally like. Oh man, yeah. If if you like the sound of what I just said, read this book, and I hope you love it as much as I did, because I thought it was amazing. So with all that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!